we get the white genocide people that talk about this stuff, and they say these statistics like, oh, white men are the minority, and it's like, yeah, if you take the entire world population and shift out all the white people and then take all the women out, well, yeah, there's going to be less of you than everybody else, but that doesn't...
You're not being replaced.
Yeah. This claim that where they were chanting Jews will not replace us in Charlottesville, and also people yelling at us on Twitter about how white men are dying in industrial rates and stuff like that. It's like,
levels,
it's
Industrial
whether I may just
Twitter,
be in a bubble, but I really don't think that that's happening, and that's just it's when you look at just how everything. I mean, look at everybody that's in the government right now.
If you're white in America,
that,
it's not like you got the worst shake.
No.
You know what I mean? That's just
no.
and no one wants to even face that factor. It's just like, yeah, you got a better shake because
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes from a liberal approach to like issues of racism, where it's all about making individuals feel guilty, and then people react against that, as opposed to like a socialist approach, which is more let's shift the power, let's shift the wealth, and it's less about like what you feel in your heart and making you feel like a guilty person for being white or whatever. It's like, now let's redistribute things, so which is more threatening at the end of the day if you really understand it, but it's might not get the same reaction.
But not for most people. I think for most people, racism is used against their own interests, whether they're black or brown or white. I think lots of white people, racism is used against them. Although white supremacy is a system that privileges white people over black people, I think historically there are many instances we can point to in which dividing people up by race like that has been a tool that people in power, like truly in power, people with lots of money, people who own industry, people who own factories and land, have used that to keep poor people and working people and even middle class people
for their own means, basically.
Yeah, well, they've been keeping them under
less
their
for
heel,
them, more for me.
keeping them under their control. So it's like for example, like white poor people in the South after slavery had it pretty shitty in many ways, but like the one thing they had to hold on to was like, oh, they weren't black, so that's why they're so desperate to hold on to that. It's like lots of white people have really shitty lives.
So that's also
look over here.
That's also a very different place though, where living in a place now that was back in the days of slavery, in the middle of it, or one of the that would be like in Alabama or whatever. I've never spent a lot of time there, but I'm sure that
I have.
Oh, you have? Oh, good.
I went to Tuscaloosa.
But I'm sure that sentiment is there, and that must be weird. That's why they don't want. That's why they keep their Confederate flag, and in their mind, that war is still like a thing.
And this is, I think the like a popular socialist view of looking at racism and other forms of oppression, like sexism, like homophobia, and other things, is that these themselves are tools of oppression and tools to divide up the working class in order to obscure common class interests. Because what poor black people and poor white people have in common is that they're screwed over by rich people. But if you get the poor white people to hate the poor black people, then they're not gonna form a
what do you call it? A union. That's it.
They're not going to kill the rich people and go and live in their mansions, basically, if you keep them divided.
Right.
Steal their toothbrushes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or even you can just
stick them in your butt and then put them right back.
You can get the poor white people to like oppress the black people for you. You don't even have to do the work.
Yeah.
It's very sinister.
Now, that leads us to sort of, I guess, the centrist critique number one of the DSA or socialism in general, which is now you're just glossing over all these issues. You don't care about race. You're just using that as a tool yourself to do that. What do you say to those people?
That we're like reducing everything to
class.
And that class is like the one to,
I mean, that's you hear the
numbers.
Look at the numbers. Yeah.
Okay.
Look at where the wealth is in this country in terms of like the average or median, however you want to measure it, white household versus black household, and it's just astonishing. Like it's like a 20-to-1 difference depending on how you measure it.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, then there's native people whose land was stolen from them, and there has to be redistribution.
Yeah.
I think you can find that you might be able to comb Twitter and find some people who really will say like race and gender and these other things don't matter. It's all just about class. But those people are fucking dumb. We don't want them in our organization. The point is not that like.
But you are going against them, so you still need to change their mind.
Well, the point is that like it's not that like race and gender and racism and sexism are not as important as class, but that capitalism is structured by racial and gendered oppression. That these axes of oppression are part of the way that this form of capitalism actually functions. So that you can't actually explain class in America or in the world right now without talking about race and gender and these other things. That those are crucial features of how it actually works. So it's a more synergistic, intersectional.
right. But it's like yeah. If you were to draw the Venn diagram or whatever, I guess the you're not ignoring these things. You're just choosing to nest things in different orders or something like that, where class might be the biggest circle, but inside of that there are real things. No, I'm getting this wrong. No, correct me, because I'm just trying to sort this out in my head.
Yeah, I don't know that they should be pitted against each other in any way.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the wrong question. Like people say, what is like the over-determining axis of oppression? Is it class? Is it race? Is it gender? I think that's not the right question to ask. I think
it's money.
Well,
no,
not necessarily. I think these are all significant, and that you can't understand any one of these things without seeing it through the lens of another, or that there's no issue you can pick out, or no policy, or no crisis that you can explain just using one of these dimensions. That you need to sort of layer them to actually understand them.